I am documenting a crime against my mom, my grandparents, and myself. This has been ongoing for years, and every day brings new evidence of cyberstalking, intimidation, and coordinated actions against my family. What I am sharing here is part of that timeline, the events between January 3rd and January 6th, 2026. On January 3rd, 2026, I began to document names connected to a crime in a YouTube video downloaded on January 5th, 2026. This video documented events that happened before and on January 3rd, 2026. I am documenting organized crime and individuals planning to commit murder. At 8:31 a.m., I received a TikTok notification from the account UHXQNVEF16295. This was no coincidence. The IT vendor Empist, who has been cyberstalking my family, manipulates my social media to drop puzzle pieces. The UH in the username stood out. As if they were surprised, I solved their plan. Before Ruben, aka Junior, was supposed to illegally enter the house in Dowagiac, Michigan, where my mom, grandma, and I were staying. Around 3 a.m., my grandma screamed out loud twice in her sleep. This was at the same time I was recording my video. God was revealing to us that the plan was for us to be ambushed while sleeping at that hour. On January 6, 2026, my mom and I arrived home from grabbing food. A boy across the street began screaming, "Ah," repeatedly, mimicking my grandma's cries. He knew what time we were arriving home. We had rented a car from Midway Airport through Hertz. We've had previous complaints with budget rental due to tracking issues and employee misconduct. So this raises questions about how they knew our arrival time. We didn't have our phones on us, so this needs to be investigated. 5 minutes later, when my mom went outside, the boy had stopped. January 4th, 2026, my grandma needed to return home, so my mom and I drove back with her. January 5th, 2026, my mom and I drove back up to Michigan to clean and pack belongings. At 9:02 a.m., I received a red warning pop-up on my laptop. Your protection from viruses expires today. I recognized this as another manipulation by Empist, timed because they knew I was uploading my video, child exploitation and judicial complicity in a crime. At 4:08 p.m. Michigan time, 3:08 p.m. Chicago time, my mom received a prank call from 773-352-3150, labeled potential spam. At 9:52 a.m., another TikTok notification appeared. This time from TECIKXJHJQF, breaking down the name, Tech for technology, IK for I know, XJ possibly referencing my mom's ex Junior. This coded message added to the pattern. At 9:54 a.m. Chicago time, my mom received a text message from 889 that read, "You used 80% of smartphone, mobile, hotspot, high-speed data on your T-Mobile plan. At 100%, your speed will be limited to 600 kbps until 1/6/2026. Data on your smartphone will still be high speed." My mom uses her high-speed data regularly and had never received a message like this before. The reference to January 6th, 2026 was deliberate. They knew we were going back up to Michigan because my mom had a car rental and we were supposed to stay up in Michigan until January 15th or so. This was the signal that they were preparing to follow through with what they had planned on January 3rd, now on January 6th, the house events. My mom packed while I cleaned the floors. By 1:20 a.m. Michigan time, we were watching a kids baking challenge on TV. Suddenly, the television began buffering with a countdown overlay. 1:30 a.m., 1:32 a.m., 1:33 a.m. The interruptions continued. My mom said she was tired and wanted to go to bed. Immediately after she said that, there was divine intervention. I knew we had to leave the house. Either Junior was already nearby or en route from Illinois to arrive by 3 a.m. We packed everything into the car and left the house immediately. The gloves and shoes. When we returned home, 2 gloves were left outside our steps. My mom said it reminded her of the O.J. Simpson trial. Yes, workers have been digging for sewage pipes, but they had never left gloves in front of the house before. My mom recalled that on January 5th, 2026, one of the diggers stopped and stared at us. She felt he knew what was happening. On January 6, 2026, muddy shoes were left outside. We believe the gloves and shoes belonged to Raymond. The placement of these items were deliberate, not casual. On that same day, my mom noted that while something was playing on the TV, the moment someone said, "The wolf is coming," the television buffered again. Another signal tied to the ongoing intimidation. There was also a scene where someone was holding an axe on TV, and the television buffered at that exact moment, reinforcing the intimidation pattern. This is the timeline I documented between January 3rd and January 6th, 2026. Watch the video I posted on January 5th, 2026. There is also a narrative to follow on my Linktree. The narrative is 10 pages long. Cyberstalking, intimidation, and physical evidence left behind, all pointing to a coordinated effort. I will continue to share these events.